Come in. Hi there. Yeah, just finishing up writing this. Awesome. Well, I'm a doctor. You can trust me with all of your problems here today. And you're here for a general checkup, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you are? Okay. Well, we need to do the identity checks, make sure you are who you say you are. So, can I get your name? Yep. Yeah. Okay, and your date of birth as well. Cool. Great. Well, that is exactly what I needed from you to make sure that you are who you say you are. How do you know that I am who I say I am? Well, I'm wearing a tie. What doctor doesn't wear a tie? Come on. You know who I am. I'm the doctor. Obviously, I'm the doctor. I wouldn't be sat in this doctor's office with my doctor's tie if I wasn't a doctor. So, our systems are offline today, so it's going to take a little bit longer than normal just because I have to do it all with paper. But I'm sure you've got time. And it's been a little while from what I can see here since your last checkup, so it's probably a better idea that we do take a little bit of time and make sure that everything is actually okay. Because, you know, sometimes people rush you through these checkups and you can miss some things that are actually really important, and we don't want to be doing any of that. So, I don't know why I keep putting this book down. Let's start off with a little questionnaire. Check that everything about you is healthy. Now, a few of these questions are going to be a little bit personal, the type of thing that you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to tell someone that. You know, there's going to be some questions about drugs, things like that. I'm not going to tell anybody else if you do drugs, right? But we, at the practice, would like to know if you do, so that we know how best to help you, especially if you have a problem. If it's something that's recreational and you're on top of it, it's not really our business. But if we know you're taking it, then if any issues arise at later dates, we can try and factor that in and figure out, you know, whether or not it could be the drugs that are having that effect, or, you know, what medication we might want to give you depending on the types of drugs you do take. It's just an important thing for us to know. So it's not like we're trying to catch you out and we're going to rat you out to the police. We're not here to do that, right? We're here to help you, ultimately. So there are questions like that. Don't worry about them. You don't have to tell us, but it would be much better if you did. So, with that out of the way, let's get some questions in. Do you know your height? Okay. I'm going to take your word for it. You look about that height, so I'm going to say it's fine. And your weight? Yeah. We do actually have scales here if you need them. Yeah, they're just that. Are you happy with your weight? I know that with medical stuff, it can sort of seem like you have to be a set weight to be healthy, and there is a general BMI scale that we want you to be sitting within to make sure that you're not going to be having any problems. But we're not going to, you know, force you to change your weight or anything like that. But we can offer help with weight loss and things like that. You know, we can book you a dietitian or something if you are feeling unhappy in your weight, because, you know, we don't want that. So how is that for you? Okay. And in terms of smoking, do you smoke tobacco? And if so, how much? And do you drink alcohol? And again, if you do, how much? Units would be great. If you don't know units, just tell me, you know, I have a glass of wine every day, or whatever you do. I don't know that I'd necessarily recommend a glass of wine every day, but so long as you're not, you know, having 2 whole bottles, you're probably okay. So, cool. And again, now we're on to the drugs question. If you do take any drugs, which ones do you take? How often do you take them? Again, we're not trying to catch you out here. This is genuinely just to help you. And if you do have a problem with any of these substances, if you feel like you are addicted to any of these substances, you can tell us and we will help you with that. This isn't something that, you know, we're going to turn around and be like, oh, we caught you, you know, we found out you're addicted to something. Like, no, that's not how we roll. Okay. Cool. How much do you exercise? So just how much do you like move around, you know? It can feel like a pretty big deal, exercise. I know for some people it's really easy, for some people it's not. Personally, if you can, just going on a 2-minute walk every day can genuinely do you wonders. And if you want to, you can start on a 1-minute walk and then you can bump it up to a 2 minutes and then you can keep going from there. Eventually you'll be walking, you know, 20, 30 minutes a day. And because it's this incremental increase, it won't feel like a lot. But even if you don't want to do that and you just want to stick with doing 2 minutes a day in terms of walking, not just for the exercise, but for actually getting fresh air, it can be really, really great for your mental health especially. It's something that I would genuinely really recommend that you do if you can. Of course, not everyone's in a position that they're able to do that, but if you can, it would be beneficial, I would say. Okay. How much do you sleep a week, would you say? Like each night, how many hours do you think you get? Okay. And is this troubled sleep or is this generally quite easy? Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. Have your allergies, do you have any new allergies that you've discovered since you were last here with us that we aren't aware of? Because obviously if you've figured something out that we don't know, it would be great to get that on your medical record or to just get some tests in for it. Okay. Awesome. And in terms of your general face stuff, your hearing, smell, taste, eyesight, have you been having any issues with any of those senses recently, or is everything okay in that department? And you can also tell us if you've been having like headaches or migraines or something of that sort. Okay, awesome. Well, that's the questionnaire done. Aced that, if I do say so. You got like top marks, so well done. Not that I was grading you or anything, you know, I wasn't, as I said, not trying to catch you out. This is genuinely a safe space. Probably shouldn't have to reiterate that so much if it really is a safe space, but trust me. I'm chill. I'm chill if you're chill. You chill? Good. Okay. So, sadly, forgotten my doctor's stethoscope. I've forgotten it. Left it at home this morning. Had a busy rush to get in. You know how it is sometimes with, you know, things getting in your way. So I cannot check your heart rate with that today. So instead, I'm going to need you to roll down your sleeve and hold out your hand. There'll be a little spot here that I'm just going to check your pulse. So if you could do that for me. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. That seems pretty healthy to me. Though it does seem like you have white coat hypertension written here on your record. But this is normal. It's completely fine. Your heart rate seemed normal there. I hope. Now, I'm going to need to check your lungs as well. Again, I don't have the stethoscope, so I'm just going to have to hold my palm against your chest, if that's okay. You can tell me if not. I won't do it if you're not comfortable. That's fine? Okay. So if you just lift your shirt up there for a second. You don't even have to lift your shirt up if you don't want to. I'm going to put one arm behind your back and one in front. And I want you to breathe in for me. Hold. And breathe out. Okay, and breathe in again. And hold. And breathe out. Okay. Feels normal, but I don't have my stethoscope, so I don't know what it sounds like. It could be broken. It could be beyond broken. Maybe I'm really not doing my doctor's job by not bringing my stethoscope today. I'm very sorry about that. I really should have. Okay. Now, the real question that we've all been asking, or at least that I've been asking myself this whole time, is how much yaoi have you been reading recently? Like how many chapters per day would you say that you partake in, shall we say? Yaoi, yeah. Or boys' love, if you'd rather. Okay, so that is ever so slightly verging on yaoi addiction territory there. So I am going to have to ask you to cut down on the amount of yaoi that you're consuming. Because if you keep going at this rate, you're going to run out. And we don't want that, do we? Because that could cause severe mental distress, and then that's a whole problem we have to deal with. So if we can cut it in the bud here and restrict you to 5 chapters a day at most, that would be great. Okay. Awesome. Great. That's all done. I am just going to check some stuff on the face now. We can start with your eyes, probably the bit that everyone loves about these sorts of exams and whatnot. So I've been using this pencil to write, but I've got it right here, so we can take a look at it. And I want you to, don't move your head, nothing like that. Just look at it, trace it, track it with your eyes. And I'm going to, move it side to side. And I just want to see how your eyes respond to doing that and how well you're able to, properly track the pencil as it moves backwards and forwards across the screen. So okay, awesome. Same thing, but we're going up and down. Okay. Cool. That looks about right to me. Now I just want to take a little look in your eyes. So I've got a light here. It's quite bright. You can see quite bright. So do brace yourself for that. But what I'm just going to do is I'm going to ask if you can cover one of your eyes there. I think that is your right eye. But I don't know, might be your left. Not good at that type of thing, sorry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in on the other eye. If you just take a look with this light. Okay. And now other eye. Okay, looks about right. Now what I want you to do is hold your hand here so that I've got a dividing line between your left and right so that I can check one eye and just see what the response is in the other one. So, and here, yeah. And consensual, tact, consensual, tact, consensual, tact, consensual, tact, consensual, Okay. That all looks relatively normal to me. I didn't really see an issue there. Your eyesight seems to be fine. And everything seems to be performing well. So now I just want to check your hearing. I'm going to whisper a set of words, and I want you to repeat back to me what words I whisper, if that's okay. I'm going to start a little further back, and I'll slowly move it in. Hopefully they get clearer. I'd be a bit surprised if they didn't. So I'm going to start back here. I'm just going to whisper some words, and I want you to tell me what they are. Onion. 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 What was that? Onion, correct. Okay, I'm going to go over here. Pterodactyl. 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 Pterodactyl, yeah. Okay, so we're going to come in a little bit closer now. Do some more words. Lights. 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 Lights, correct. And on the other side. Camera. 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 Final word. Potato. 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 Potato, yes. Awesome. That seems fine. Have you had any issues with your hearing? I know you said you didn't mention it earlier. Just to double check now on it. No? Cool. And I am, for your jaw, if it's okay, I just want to come in and palpate your jaw and just check that all of the muscles here are working as intended, that they seem fine, that they're not inflamed or anything like that. So, you just hold still for a moment, close your mouth. I'm just going to come in and take a look there. Just palpate. Palpate. Palpate on your jaw, and if you want to open your mouth, yeah. And we'll see what that's like. Can you just flex your jaw up and down? Yeah. Can you do side to side? Cool. Okay. Yeah. That looks relatively normal to me. Well, feels. Wasn't really very much to look at. But that feels how it should. Have you noticed any aches or pains in your jaw recently? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. Okay. So that seems to be the face generally done. We've got this area done. We've done your heart. We've done your lungs. So next, reflexes. And for reflexes, I don't have a little toy hammer. I don't have any of that boring stuff that other doctors might have. No, I'm a cool doctor. And cool doctors stock BMO. So I've got BMO, and what BMO is going to do is, for these types of tests, you don't need anything super, super hard. BMO is a little soft guy, and we're just going to tap him on some of those points and just check your reflexes and make sure that everything's working as intended. And I might throw him at you at one point, but I might not. Reflexes. We'll see. So, if you hold your arms out for me, I'm just going to check. Okay, and the other one. Okay, and same thing with your legs down here. So if you just, yeah. And do the other leg as well. Can't leave one out. That's just rude, isn't it? Okay, and ooh, you thought, no, I'm not going to throw him at you, but You can hold on to him for the rest of the exam if you'd like. Not a problem there. So that all seemed pretty normal, I would say, but there's always room for improvement when it comes to reflexes. You want to be top of the game. You want to win all your matches on competitive video games, then you've got to get those reflexes better. But generally, it's not like a health problem. You're fine. You're okay. Probably just in the bottom 40%, but bottom 40% of healthy people. So you're healthy, and that's all that matters. But you're not going to be an esports pro, so maybe work on it if you do want to be an esports pro. There's a goal for you. No, I'm kidding. You're fine. Just a little doctor joke we like to do for our esports audience, which honestly isn't that many people, so I don't know why we do it, but we're taught it in doctor school. They say, oh, do the esports joke, they'll love it. They never love it. Doctor school is a bit of a joke itself. Okay. Well, that seems relatively normal. So I guess the final remaining thing to do is to just ask if you have any queries or problems or, questions with your health, anything that has been worrying you, troubling you recently that you want to talk to me about. Water? Yeah, okay. So when it comes to water, we recommend that you drink about 2 litres a day. Anything more than that can definitely cause issues. So if you're finding that you feel like you need to pee a lot or you sweat a lot, all of these types of things could be caused by drinking too much water. So if you can keep track of it, try and keep it to around 2 litres. If you feel like you're not drinking enough water, that can cause dizziness, it can cause headaches, it can cause a whole plethora of different issues. A lack of hydration can be a massive problem. So we do recommend 2 litres per day. If you can get one of those really big water bottles that does the, you refill it and it does the thing, those can be kind of useful. You can also just look up the approximate amount of litres in the type of glass that you have at home and try and drink a certain amount of those a day. Generally, it's not the end of the world if you go slightly over, and it's not the end of the world if you go slightly under. But if you can aim for that each day, any issues that could be arising from water, so, in excess or in, too little, will be hopefully solved. And if they're not, then come back to us and we'll have a look, because it might not be a hydration issue, but if you're thinking that it probably is, and you know that I don't drink enough, or I definitely drink too much, then that's an issue that you can probably quite easily fix. So that's not too much of an issue, really, if that is a problem that you feel like you might be having. Besides that, is there anything? Your mental well-being, how's that been recently? How are you? I guess is the question. Maybe there's been some major events going on in your life or in the world that have been making you feel down or making you feel up. I'm down to hear about either. I think the form mainly focuses on when people are feeling down, because that's where they might need help, but sometimes an exorbitant amount of feeling up for no reason can also be cause for concern. So if you feel like you're extremely happy all of the time and you don't have any reason to be, there's nothing that's making you feel that way, that can also feel a little bit worrying or daunting, and that is also something that you can talk to us about. You don't have to feel silly because, well, I'm happy, I'm fine, but it's like, sometimes you're not. Sometimes there are other things at work that you just aren't, aware of. But generally, how would you say that your life has been recently in terms of mental well-being? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I understand that, yeah. can be a big thing. Okay. Well, said we could take our time with it. And how long has it been? I'd say that's been about 20 minutes or so for this exam, which honestly isn't really taking our time with it at all, is it? That's probably quite average. Honestly, there's probably some people who do it way longer than I do, but I forgot all my doctor tools. So sadly, you're stuck with me today, and I'm a subpar doctor, barely passed doctor school. Maybe that's why I disliked it so much and why all of the jokes went over my head, but it is what it is. And the main takeaways that we've got from today is that you are generally healthy, besides the fact that you need to slightly cut down on your yaoi consumption because you are consuming a little bit too much yaoi per day at the moment. And we would recommend 5 chapters at most, because otherwise you might run out. And just overconsumption of anything can be a problem. You know, you don't want to be consuming an ungodly amount. So there is that, I suppose. Besides that, everything seems fine though. I didn't notice anything that would give me cause for concern. And so you're free to go. Bye. Damn paperwork. Really never get a break.